A new season, a new challenge, and one of the most competitive grids we've ever seen. Welcome to Silverstone and round one of the Radical Cup Canada Winter Series presented by BIS. More than 60 drivers are ready to launch into action, a lineup featuring fresh rookies, seasoned veterans, pro sim racers, real world racers, and even an Indy 500 pole sitter. The field is split into two classes based on driver rating, AM and Pro, each fighting for their own championship and the ultimate reward, a real-world radical test drive for both class champions at season's end. The prizes are real, the stakes are high, and with 9 of 11 past BIS champions returning to the grid, the level of competition has never been tougher. And where better to begin than here? Silverstone, a circuit steeped in history, speed, and precision. The lights are on, the engines are ready, and a new chapter of Radical Cup Canada begins right now. This is the BIS Radical Cup Canada Winter Series, and it starts here at Silverstone. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. My name is Daniel Zippy Sowen, and joining me today in the commentary box is Mr. Reese Gardner, and at the production controls, the one and only Mr. Christian Hill.
Yeah, honestly, Zippy, I'm so hyped for this. It's a fantastic new season of Radical Cup Canada. This series has been running for a few seasons on the virtual platform now, but for the first time officially supported by FEL Motorsports, the organisers of the Real World Championship. A fantastic new season is upon us, and of course, as we mentioned, it begins right here in Northamptonshire in the UK. Let's have a look at the track that we are racing at today. Welcome to Silverstone Circuit, the home of British motorsport and one of the most iconic racetracks in the world. Born from a World War II airfield, Silverstone has evolved into a high-speed cathedral of racing, fast, flowing, and absolutely unforgiving. 18 corners make up this 3.6-mile masterpiece, each demanding precision and courage in equal measure. Drivers will rocket through Abbey and Farm at turns 1 and 2, dance through the Beckett's Chapel complex, turns 10 to 14. One of the most famous sequences in motorsport, before charging down the Hangar Straight, where slipstreams and bravery go hand in hand. Then it's into Stowe, hard on the brakes before the technical Vale and Club corners bring them back to the line. A lap that tests balance, rhythm and nerve. Silverstone rewards those who trust the car and commit to every corner. One mistake can cost a second. One moment of brilliance can win it all. Tonight, it's round one of the BIS Radical Cup Canada Winter Series, and as a new season begins, so does the fight for glory. The stage is set, the grid is ready, and Silverstone awaits those bold enough to master it. But Zippy, Silverstone is not the only track we're racing at this season. This is only the first round. Let's have a look at what is to come.
Well, it is definitely going to be an absolute beaut of a schedule. You see there, we're going to be going to round 2. We're traveling all the way to Mexico before going to Montreal for round 3. Round 4 is going to be Monza. With round 5, I will admit, I'll be doing a cameo appearance myself for Watkins Glen. Round 6 takes us to Donington Park, the Grand Prix layout, with round 7 over at Interlagos. But for the finale, ladies and gentlemen, March 4th, 2026, it's going to be back to the BIS home track of Motorsport.
Oh, it certainly is. A fantastic schedule here. All tracks that suit the Radical SR10 on the iRacing service very nicely. And we should be seeing the drivers tested at every single one of these venues, from the high speed of Watkins Glen to the twisties of Montreal and Mexico. It's going to be magnificent. But we have, of course, a couple of races to do tonight. The event format is as follows. Drivers have already done their 80 minutes of practice. They are reaching the conclusion of their 15 minutes of qualifying. Then we have the first race of the night, a sprint race of 15 minutes, a 5-minute warm-up in between, and the feature race, the top 10 from race 1 will be inverted for the start of that one. 30 minutes on the clock for race 2, and drivers are going to need to stop for fuel in that feature race. There is a fixed setup in this series, so if you're unfamiliar with that, it basically means everyone is driving the same settings on the car and they can't change it apart from brake bias when you're in the car. So it all comes down to the driver, Zippy. It's it's a great format. It's one that's tried, tested, and true, and I'm sure it's going to bring us even more entertainment this season.
Oh, absolutely, Reese. And looking just at the looking at the entry list right now and seeing who is in here, it's an absolute belter. Like, I don't know, should we spoil it? Should we give a few drops of a few hints of who we're going to be seeing in here?
Feel free, feel free.
I'm down for it. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you've not met him before, Racine Fazui, he does indeed coach Cedric O'Hayan, and indeed he's an absolutely blisteringly fast racer as well. He's in here. Jamie LeVay's back. Clay Morris is back. Looking further down, Alex Ellis, ladies and gentlemen. If you've not seen him before, I can tell you he's absolutely dynamite on the track, and he drives a real Cayman GT4 professionally, ladies and gentlemen, as well as being an engineer. Looking further down, Marshall Crocker Jr. returns, ladies and gentlemen, a previous BIS champion, as is Zach Buchanan. He's back. Joey Haynes, one of the BIS originals, and indeed, I'm seeing a couple of names we recognize from elsewhere in our other endeavors. Cairo Enns, Sammy Hendricks making a return. Obviously, Andrew Harmon comes back. Cara Dudgeon, ladies and gentlemen, champion of the Radical Academy, hands down, absolutely dominated. Not just, I mean, she didn't just dominate there. She carried off at BIS and was very, very respectably quick there as well. Power to her. But I think the big name that everybody is going to be keen to see, ladies and gentlemen, Alex Tagliani is going to grace us with his presence tonight, as is Brady Clapham as well. If you saw GP3R Tras Rivières, these two guys were battling out for the win over in Quebec.
That they were. Man, talk about name drops. That's incredible. Alex Tagliani here tonight. Let's see how well he does and how well he's going to be starting, because it's time to go through the grid. We are getting ready for the start of race 1 right now. All the drivers have put in their qualifying laps, and we can get things started for tonight's racing. So on pole position, reigning champion Racine Fazui for Lima Racing Pro. Jamie LeVay alongside him for MTC Motorsports. Clay Morris and Ryan Otto are your second row of the grid. Team ERC there on 4th. Alex Ellis and Christian Moniz for Satellite Racing will both take the 3rd row of the grid. Then it's Jacob Batter and Marshall Crocker Jr. We saw Marshall put in some star performances last season. Assad Kardenbev as well. Young Carter starting alongside Austin Milwayne to round out your top 10. Then Diego Zuccarelli in 11th place alongside Zach Buchanan. Joey Haynes will start alongside Sebastian Day on the 7th row of the grid. Cairo Enns and Sammy Hendricks, who we've both seen race in the Almeida Racing League, also on Pit Road Productions, they're starting together on row number 8. Jesse Lambert and Andrew Hardman on row number 9. Then it's Jared Dunkovic and Richard Hibbs who round out your top 20. Cara Dudgeon will start out of 21st place for Radical Academy Canada. Dylan Rennie alongside her there on row number 11. Then Kenton Young and Jonathan Etier on row number 12. In 25th place, Wyatt Cormier with Tyler Scurali alongside him. Mauricio Parada and our series organizer Michael Broomhead will be on row 14. The top 30 cars rounded out by Clovis Girard and Brady Clapham. John Benvalid will start out at 31st place, the second of our Lima Racing drivers there, with Maxime Armand alongside him. Mark Boyd and Jean-Francois Larocque will start at 33rd and 34th. Cedric O'Hayan, the third and final of our Lima Racing drivers, will start out at 35th alongside Abhi Shrivastava. And then Matthew Crimmy and Stephen Sutherland on the row behind. Robert Covey and Keenan Blades round out our top 40 cars. We've got a lot of cars here tonight. Ollie Ferguson and Harland Goulbourne starting behind them. Then Jonathan Pekazin and Rick Boyd. Richard Morris and John Painter, 45th and 46th. Matt Sobol shares his row of the grid with Alex Tagliani, and then Matthew Mailman and Ella Martin round out 50 cars. 2 more, Chad Payton and Ovidio Milos. 52 cars taken to the start, Zippy. They are about to take the green flag as we speak. Let's get going.
Well, what an absolute belter of a grid, Raiders. Away we go, and already 3 wide. We're not even there to turn 1, and these guys are absolutely battling for love and money, ladies and gentlemen, indeed, for a chance at the championship. As right now, Racine Fazui, Ryan Otto, and Jamie LeBay were all going side by side as they make their way down towards turn 1.
Side by side for second place, Racine Fazui. Starting to jet away now. Something that we've seen happen a lot, but Ryan Otto spins out of the hairpin, and he's joined by another car. Looks like that's Zach Buchanan that's also spun around too. Chaotic start there for those. The gap for the lead has increased, and that's a big move from Alex Ellis up the inside at Brooklands.
Definitely already battles going on, ladies and gentlemen, but Racine Fazui has managed to pull away a 1.6-second gap with Alex Ellis now. He's getting a little bit of pressure there from LeVay. It's good to see these guys are indeed battling, but right now it's opening up the door here for Racine Fazui to put absolute pull away. Are we going to see free wide yet again? Certainly huge battles happening for P2, and indeed further back, looks like one of the Lima Racing machines further back getting into a bit of a battle as well.
Yes, indeed. Lima Racing providing the grand prize for this season, a test in one of their real-world Radical SR3s. But the battle is going on for Christian Muniz as well, almost getting together with Clay Morris there behind Jamie LeVay and Alex Ellis. It looks like both of the satellite racing cars are very pacey in this early part of the race. So it's a 15-minute first race. This is only going to be 8 laps long. That's why you're seeing such big moves from these drivers, and they're driving as hard as they ever will. The battle continuing for second place there, but looks like a car running wide at Stowe. Sammy Hendrickson, the number 10, he's made contact with Jesse Lambert, and they will sort themselves out on the way down to Vale. My goodness, everywhere you look, there's a fight going on. Spin for Hendricks. He spun, and that results in contact and a little bit of a crush there, and there's nowhere he can go for the moment.
Yeah, all he can do is basically stay there, stay parked, and hope that nobody hits him. Definitely a little bit unfortunate there. The cold tyres being very much a big effect in the Radicals. But shout out to the driver of the 111 car, Jacob Batar. He's currently up there in P5. Despite being an AM on his debut season, he is up 2 positions and absolutely hanging it there with the greats. We've got a shout out for Christian Menezes. He's there in P6. A shout out for Cool Border from him, saying he's somebody to keep an eye on. And indeed, I would agree with him. Sebastian Day there, currently the next AM challenger, currently there in P11. Battles indeed happening throughout. As I have a look through for a hard charger right now, I've got my eye on Brady Clapham. He's currently up 7 positions, but ladies and gentlemen, he's one of them, and indeed has raced wheel to wheel, pick a wheel, ladies and gentlemen, with the likes of Alex Tagliani. But looking further back though, Ovidio Milas is currently up 9 positions in 42nd overall.
Indeed, so some big gains made from drivers starting up towards the back. Unfortunately, it seems Alex Tagliani did not take to the start in this first race. Hopefully, we see him on the grid for race 2. If he ends up starting, he'll be doing a last to first challenge. We'll wait and see on that one. But on board here with Marshall Crocker, 8th place, as he's trying his best here to catch up to Ozzy Milwane and Jacob Batter. Again, as you say, Zippy, star performance from that 111 racing in 6th. Of course, there's I believe that all drivers are scored on overall finishing positions. So the more cars you have in between yourself and your next closest challenger in AM, the better your points haul is going to be. So let's see what Crocker can do to try and nail the exit there out of Vale and Club. I did some ghost driving in the practice session that was held before this event, and yeah, I found it very difficult to keep up that mid-corner speed. This SR10 is a car that really rewards aggression on the way in, but it tends to understeer a little on the way into the corners. You need to be precise and then aggressive in the middle of the corner. So the pace these guys can pull is quite impressive.
Yeah, definitely the Radical SR10. It's a hell of a lot of a car to drive. There's a huge amount of power, a huge amount of downforce, and definitely does take a lot of skill to control. Certainly the SR3, we've been really hoping we'd see it here in the iRacing sim, but it's not yet made its way into the sim. But it looks like the 26 car is indeed getting into a battle. That's Diego Zuccarelli going alongside Marshall Crocker Jr., ladies and gentlemen. These guys are indeed fighting out. Now, Diego Zuccarelli, seasoned Radical driver, ladies and gentlemen, certainly in the sim. But let's not knock Marshall Crocker Jr. He was the AM Championship winner in the last season.
Certainly was, and has earned himself a promotion to the pro class as a result. We can always see him active in the top 10 for the moment. He'll keep the pressure up on Ozzy Milwane. Bit of a gap forming to Christian Menezes now, and a pack is starting to form behind as well, giving chase. Diego Zuccarelli is leading that one up, and looks like we'll see. Hang on a minute. Crocker actually behind Zuccarelli now. It looks like he ended up losing a couple of positions there. So we'll correct the record there. He'll be chased by Asad Nikardenbev and Sebastian Day. That's the battling up the front of the field. Cara Dudgeon has moved her way up into 18th place for the time being. So we'll see some good gains from the Radical Academy driver. There's the move for Marshall Crocker Jr. at Vale, meanwhile, passing Zuccarelli, and that puts him offline, gives a chance to Nikardenbev to get through.
Absolutely fantastic racing so far, ladies and gentlemen, and it is indeed a belter. But let's check in and see exactly how Asad Nikardenbev is indeed doing. Now, this is a young car. He has indeed moved up to a spec racer Ford as well. I was definitely a little bit jealous. I would love to have a go on one of those, ladies and gentlemen. It's probably one of my favorite cars in the sim. But don't get me wrong, a Radical. It's made literally in Peterborough, UK. It's about an hour from where I grew up, and certainly I have been offered a chance to go and tour the factory, to which I do need to go back and do that, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, Asad Nikardenbev, he is very much tucked under the rear wing there of Diego Zuccarelli. Now, Nikardenbev, he's potent, he is aggressive, but is that going to be what really costs him this race as he goes a little bit wide there, really flirting with the curbing, but it's really, really starting to push a little bit there. He has lost a little bit of space there back to Zuccarelli, but right behind him is Sebastian Day in that 310 car, albeit in the M class. Ladies and gentlemen, could this be an opportunity for Sebastian to find his way up into the top 10?
Yeah, this is the question here. Sebastian certainly got a lot of pressure behind him. Joey Haynes, Jarrett Dunkovic, and Rich Hibbs all behind him in this battle just outside the top 10. And there's plenty of space around this circuit for moves, but you need to be precise, as I said before, especially through these fast corners. The Beckett's S's, if you get the exit right, will grant you a big launch out onto the hangar straight. And it looks like Nikardenbev is just picking up a tiny bit of slipstream, but it's not enough to keep the rest of them at bay. So they'll continue battling towards the end of the lap.
Absolutely fantastic stuff here. And Asad Nikardenbev usually on the offensive when it comes to an attack. That looks like a little bit of a move there. That purple car absolutely sneaking in. I believe that may have been Tyler Scarelli, ladies and gentlemen, but don't hold me to it. The 89 car.
No. It was Jarrett Dunkovic
making a move.
Yeah, so he's moved back past Rich Hibbs there. And dealing with a tiny bit of understeer through Abbey, the first corner of this track. You got to tap the brakes a little into that first corner. And then it's so difficult to slow down for this hairpin sequence. You're trying to transition across the circuit to widen the entry, but this car does not like it when you brake and turn at the same time. You got to make sure that you're braking in a straight line, and the car will play right into your hands. Oh, move to the inside there for Joey Haynes. He's trying to get past Dunkovic as the exchange is made again between Dunkovic and Hibbs. Looks like Sebastian Day is going to have to wait a few more corners for the attack from Joey Haynes again. Big snap from Rich Hibbs. Keeping an eye on our top 5 battle, Alex Ellis, he was in P2, but Jamie LeVay passed him on the last lap, and now Clay Morris has found his way past. That's just further increased the gaps here. LeVay now holds on to a 1.3 second gap over these two, and that means Racine Fazoui's lead has ballooned out to nearly 6 seconds. Looks like Fazoui is picking up right where he left off last season.
Yeah, to be honest, Racine is an absolute beast behind the wheel of a car, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, he's nearly 8,000 I rating, and for good reason. Very few people can definitely give him a challenge. I'm not sure what percentage he would be in terms of top I rating in terms of the whole service, but it's fair to say he is indeed pretty up there. But let's not be wrong here. Alex Ellis, by all means, no slouch. I do believe he actually won one of the Pro Championship. Certainly he won a lot of races when he was present. I do remember him making a pass by me at the end of the season. I think it was the debut season at Laguna Seca. So certainly a potent driver indeed. Certainly nothing off my back, but definitely it's good to see he's having some competition. Clay Morris as well. He's got somebody to spar against, and Jamie LeVay, I think he's trying to really capitalize on that. He's got a 1 second gap so far. If he can break the draft, it could be very, very beneficial, but definitely battles happening throughout. Looks like Andrew Hardman and Cara Owens getting into a battle as well for P16.
Yes, Jesse Lambert made the move on Cairo Owens, as it looks like there's a couple of spinners. It looks like Jarrett Dunkovic.
It's Dunkovic.
Yeah, Dunkovic, Haynes, and Enns all around at the hairpin. That's a big development. That is significant.
Oh.
Not sure exactly what happened between them. Might have been contact. It looks like it was. Dunkovic tried to move up the inside there. The 75er Kenton Young also around at the same location, but that's in a separate incident. Yeah, it looks like Dunkovic tried to pass Haynes. They made contact, and then unfortunately, Cairo Enns ending up spinning at the same location. So that is quite the significant development in the first race of the night. We've only got 3 laps to go once they cross the line next.
I gotta admit, Reese, I am absolutely pumped to be here. This is probably one of my favorite series we run here on Pit Road Productions. It's a lot at stake. There's a lot of drivers, and indeed there is a lot of control. Let's take a look here at the replay. Dunkovic there on the inside, and just doesn't look like there's quite enough space there. Himself and the number 6 get into it. If we have a quick look here, the number 6 driver, I'm looking for him, Reese. I'm looking for him.
We saw him up the top right. Yeah, Joey Haynes going around there. And at the top right, I think we saw Cairo Enns spinning as well. This car in second gear likes to spin up the rears. It's a turbocharged engine on this Radical SR10. So you need a lot of control in your right foot to get it done. So keep our eyes on Marshall Crocker here, who's been granted 8th position now as a result of those exchanges. Jacob Batter in front of him running a little bit wide through the first of our hairpins here, and he and Aussie Milwayne will be piling under pressure very shortly indeed.
Yeah, well, by all means, they certainly will race. And I've got to say, what an absolutely incredible debut circuit as well. Silverstone, ladies and gentlemen, we are indeed starting in my homeland of the UK. But we're checking in here with Maxime Armand. He's currently there in P18 there, and looks like he's having a little bit of a battle there, or at least he's certainly got a couple going on around him. Ladies and gentlemen, right behind that is incredibly close. That is Zach Buchanan, one of the previous BIS champions here, as they go side by side through the left-hander. It's going to put him onto the inside for the right-hander there. Got to try and carry as much speed as possible. Could this be an opportunity indeed for the car behind Ryan Otto as well? These guys keep battling. It could open up an opportunity here as John Bemblid is indeed trying to run away from this fight.
Buchanan trying to get on the power a bit quicker out of Luffield, but he's not able to clear him. And Maxime Armand will keep side by side through Cops. You almost never see cars going side by side through there. He was pinched to the apex, and Zach Buchanan is through into 18th place. It's a few positions lower than he would have liked. He was obviously one of the cars that was involved in that incident at turn 4 a lap or so ago. Now, it looks like we're going to be seeing Ryan Otto put some pressure on Maxime Armand as the final lap has begun up the front of the field for Racine Fazui. His lead is now out to 7 seconds. It's insane pace that we're seeing from him. And these battles we're looking at are going to continue all the way around this final lap. It's been a frenetic first race.
Oh, it absolutely has. Certainly for a scene, whenever he shows up, he is absolutely dominating. No, I don't think I've ever seen him struggle to win a race. He's impressively quick to the point where, like, you know, how do you even beat this guy? And I think the biggest thing is to try and, like, an invert grid, I think, could be the way. Certainly, there is indeed some tough competition here, but we do need to try and clog him up a little bit in the nicest of ways. But right now, you can see here, battles happening throughout, all in through the mid-pack, ladies and gentlemen. It indeed looks like there's been a bit of movement further back as well. Diego Zuccarelli and Marshall Crocker Jr. going at it still as well. But right now, this is Zuccarelli here, trying to hold off from Crocker Jr., and indeed, it looks like he's got a car ahead of him with Jacob Patar, who is in the AM class, ladies and gentlemen. But still, he's holding P7, potentially a couple more points available on the line for the driver of the number 26.
Yes, indeed. Let's see if he can hold him off here. Zuccarelli with, I think, a very familiar face behind him, Marshall Crocker Jr. These two have fought on track plenty of times before, and there's a lot of respect between them. So let's see what Crocker can do to find his way out of the Beckett's S's properly here. It looks to me like it's a bit of a better time for Diego Zuccarelli, but it looks like our leader is coming to the line here. Racine Fazui started from pole and did not look back. All of the chaos happened behind him, and he'll be granted 7.5 seconds gap as he takes the first win of the season here at Silverstone. The reigning champion getting his title defense off to the best start possible.
Absolutely, a good win there for Lima Racing Pro. It looks like something happened to a couple of the drivers as well. I see John Painter, Harlan Goulburn with black flags. I see Richard Morris with a meatball flag, Rick Boyd with a meatball flag, and indeed Dylan Rennie back in P49. And side by side, 2x2, ladies and gentlemen, that I believe is Zach Buchanan there, trying to make a sneaky move at the end over the number 60 of Jesse Lambert.
Yeah, indeed.
Oh my gosh,
he does. Almost 3 wide across the line. That was Haynes, Armand, and Hardman, I believe, going side by side there. Last couple of drivers to make their way across the line here. Brady Clapham, 32nd place, got Matthew Creamy behind him, and that is the last close battle on the circuit. We're still waiting for quite a few drivers to make it to the line, but they're all separated by more than a second apiece. So no more fights to the line, at least as far as we can see. Man, what a first race.
Absolutely, and I'm just having a look to see who the hard charge was. I believe it was John Bemberlid, actually. He was up 15 spots, but no shortage there. Broomhead up 14, Scarali up 13. Indeed, another driver further back was Ovidio Milos. He was up 14 positions as well. Ollie Ferguson gained 12. Steve Sutherland, he's a auto-eclectic inclined gentleman himself. He's up 10 as well. What an absolutely fantastic result. In fact, fantastic debut race here on Pit Road Productions.
Oh, boy. Fantastic stuff. It looks like pretty much everyone has crossed the line now, so looks like we will be able to go through the results of this race here. So our top 3 finishing in the same order they started, but that doesn't tell the full story. LeVay and Morris had to work their way back past Alex Ellis, who finishes in P4. Christian Menezes finishes in P5. Gaining 4 positions is Ozzy Milwane up in the top 6 there. Jacob Batter finishes where he started, as does Marshall Crocker Jr., with pressure from Diego Zuccarelli and Sebastian Day to round out your top 10.
Look there, in 11th place was Assad Nikardenbev with Rich Hips in 12. Tyler Scarali took 13th with teammate Mr. Michael Broomhead there alongside in 14th. Cara Judging, great to see her back. She's there in 15th with John Bemberlid, one of the Lima Racing pros, there in 16th. Ryan Otto was there in 17th with former BIS Radical Cup champion Zachary Buchanan in 18th. Another one for the AM class, Jesse Lambert there. Got a lot of cheering for him in the chat as well. He is the GOAT. Lima Racing Junior team, he's there in 19th with Joey Haynes closing out your top 20.
Maxime Armand started in 32nd and finishes 21st for his troubles. Fantastic stuff. Andrew Hardman and Mark Boyd behind him, with Clovis Girard and Cedric O'Hyan rounding out your top 25. Jarrett Dunkovic, he could have finished a lot higher than that. Unfortunately, contact and a spin put paid to that. Cairo ends also with a spin on the way through to 27th place. Stephen Sutherland, Ollie Ferguson, and Abhi Shrivastava will round out your top 30 cars.
As we look there at P31, it was Pit Road Productions, our very own guest commentator, Mr. Robert Covey. He's there with Kenton Young in 32nd. Brady Clapham, real-life radical driver, ladies and gentlemen. He's there representing Lima Racing in 33rd. Matthew Crimmy took 34th with JF LaRock in 35th. Chad Payton in 36th with Vido Milos in 37. Jonathan Picazin is in 38th with John Painter. I believe that is another real-life radical driver, ladies and gentlemen. He's there in 39th with Ella Martin, closing out your top 40 for Radical Academy Canada.
Last 2 cars on the lead lap there, John Painter and Mauricio Parada. In 43rd place, Richard Morris will get himself in 44th. I think these results are slightly off from the actual results in the sim, but I'll read off the production feed as Matt Sobol unfortunately retiring from that one, and Alex Tagliani did not take to the start, though he was present in practice. So let's see if we have our Indy 500 pole sitter join the grid here for the second race of the day. Well, Zippy, with all of that, we have The pecking order at the front firmly established, I think. It's going to be Racine Fazui versus everyone else once again.
Yeah, certainly. He is absolutely a beast behind the wheel of these cars. Don't get me wrong, I've never seen him in anything other than a Radical, ladies and gentlemen. So certainly, I've got to wonder just how far he can drive. But certainly, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing some close competition. There is indeed a lot on the line, and certainly, you know, we've got to give a huge shout out to the sponsors as well. Certainly FAL Motorsports, thank you very much for coming on. Lima Racing as well, certainly a huge amount of generosity there, offering up the car for these guys to drive. Not only that, it is without a doubt the most beautiful Radical SR3 on the planet, ladies and gentlemen. And it's even got the Pit Road Productions logo on it. A huge thank you to the guys for that. We've also got Dakim Designs as well. They did a actual replica of Cedric's car, and you can race it in the sim, and we're seeing it here on the show tonight. I gotta say, absolutely blown away with it. It was an emotional moment for me to see that, and I've got to say a huge thank you to everybody who made that come together.
Yes, indeed. Dakin's also bringing the official standard livery package to this series as well. Some fantastic support here from all of the series partners, and of course Lima Racing. You've got your gear. You have quite the association with them, Zippy, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing who ultimately takes that prize at season's end. Not only the Pro Champion, but also the AM Champion and the top female driver in the series will all get a free half-day test with Lima Racing.
Oh, certainly that is definitely something I'm going to want to be there for. Indeed, I do have to still go and take a drive, and certainly I've been meaning to go and meet the Lima Racing guys as well. Certainly absolutely wonderful bunch of people, and certainly we want to see them do well as well. But definitely as we're going in, I got to admit there's a lot of new faces here in BIS, and it's beautiful for us to be able to say this, but we filled the league, ladies and gentlemen. There is no more spots. There is only a reserve list.
Yeah,
I don't know
we oversubscribed.
Well, I don't know of any other league that's ever managed to do that quickly. Like, we're not even a couple of rounds in. We were filled before we went live, ladies and gentlemen. Huge shout out to Mike Broomhead for making that come together, and indeed all the new talent we've got here today in BIS.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, the fact that we have all 60 grid slots filled up before the start of the first round, it's frankly insane, and really goes to show there's a lot of support for this series and a lot of drivers wanting to take that prize, and even if they're not able to, they have a really tough race as well. Like the level of competition in this series is right up there. It's absolutely fantastic to see. Yeah,
I can definitely, I started as a competitor, Reese. I definitely get it. I actually started BIS as a competitor in the Radicals, and then I transitioned to commentary, and my first ever show was BIS F1600, and ladies and gentlemen, I've been here ever since.
You certainly have. I came in a little bit later on in the runnings, but yeah, the Radical Cup Canada is not the only pro level Canadian motorsport associated series we have here on Pit Road Productions. We also have the Toyo Tires F1600 Championship running on every other week to this series. So if you want to see some top competitors racing in Formula Fords, make sure to tune in this time next week. Shares the same time slot as the RCC Winter Series. But it looks to me like we are getting ready for the start of Race 2. Let's go through the grid then for this 30-minute feature race where the top 10 have been inverted from the finish of Race 1. By virtue of finishing 10th, Sebastian Day has pole position with Diego Zuccarelli joining him on the front row. Marshall Crocker Jr. and Jacob Batter will have the 3rd and 4th places, with 5th going to Aussie Mil Wayne alongside Christian Menezes. Then Alex Ellis and Clay Morris on row number 4. Jamie LeVay and Racine Fazui will round out your top 10, Zippy.
As we have a look there at P11, Assad Nikardabev is going to be back alongside Rich Harrops in P12. P13 is going to be occupied by Tyler Scarelli, and indeed the teammates are back together. Michael Broomhead alongside in P14. As we have a look at 15, Cara Dudgeon, one of the fastest ladies I've ever seen in the sim. She's there alongside one of the BIS regulars and indeed Lima Racing Pro, John Benvalid. Moving back to P17 is Ryan Otto alongside former champion Zachary Buchanan. And in P19, Jesse Lambert, a Lima Racing Junior with a hell of a cheerleading squad. He's here alongside Joey Haynes, rounding out your top 20.
Maxime Armand starting 21st alongside Andrew Hardman, with Mark Boyd and Clovis Girard on row number 12 behind. Cedric O'Hyan starting out at 25th place, gained 10 places in race 1. He'll want to keep that momentum going alongside Jarrett Dunkovic, who wants to make a recovery. Cairo Enns also wanting to recover, maybe get back up to his starting position of 15th in race 1 alongside Stephen Sutherland, with Abhi Shrivastava in 29th and Robert Covey rounding out your top 30. He gained 9 places in race 1. It's been a good run for him so far.
Absolutely. As Kenton Young takes 31st, with Brady Clapham, a real-life Radical driver, there in 32nd. Matthew Crimmy is going to be in 33rd, with JF LaRock in 34th. Moving back to 35th, Chad Payton is there alongside Ovidio Milos. And in 37th, ladies and gentlemen, Jonathan Picazan, he's there representing Lima Racing Rookies, with Ollie Ferguson alongside in P38. In 39, Elon Martin, ladies and gentlemen, one of the Radical Academy drivers, alongside Matthew Mailman, closing out your top 40.
Yep, John Painter and Mauricio Parada on row number 21, with Richard Morris and Rick Boyd alongside. Harland Goulbourne starting out at 45th alongside Dylan Rennie. Then we have Keenan Blades and Wyatt Cormier, followed by Sammy Hendricks and Jonathan Etier. Matt Sobol will start down in 51st place, or will he? He is not on the grid. Neither is Alex Tagliani. So looks like we're going to be seeing 50 cars take to the start here today. And this will be the big one here. There's going to be a lot of racing in the top 10 as those podium getters try to get back to those positions. But the start is on. Sebastian Day puts down the power, and we are racing, and already problems for the drivers here. Oh my goodness, that is falling down the order now for Zach Buchanan, and Asadna Kardenbev falling down the order too. This is a crazy start for Ozzy Milwain, who in particular falling down to 41st place now. That's taken a couple of heavy hitters out there, Zippy. I'm not sure what to make of that.
Indeed, I think the Teddies may be out the pram for that one. I can see there's a black flag for Jacob Patar. He's currently up in P4. I do have to wonder if it's a slowdown or if indeed he had an issue at the start. But right now, that's definitely going to throw a spanner in the works. Joey Haynes, though, up an astonishing 7 positions, ladies and gentlemen. And we're not even through the first lap. As it looks like a couple of Lima Racing cars there going side by side. No, it's not. It's indeed one of Lima Racing. And I believe that might be Clay Morris there going off the paint. So that must be Racine Pazui in the 58, with Clay Morris having a good battle there in the 48 alongside.
Well, a chaotic start to be sure. It was Christian Menezes and Ozzy Milwain who came together there at the start, both of them spinning, and it looks like we've lost Christian, unfortunately. Menezes towing back to the pits after that incident, so that's a real shame. It looks like we won't be seeing any more from him tonight. Fortunately, you can drop 1 feature result and 1 sprint result from your championship total. I think that might be a drop round for a few drivers as we focus in on our leaders. Sebastian Day leads, but Marshall Crocker Jr. is right behind him into Stowe. There's a dive to the inside from Alex Ellis, gets into 4th place, and Jacob Batta will have to yield for that one. They are rapidly being caught up by Racine Vazui as Batta comes into the pit lane. I think he might have a black flag to his name for gaining positions before they got to the start-finish line. Not much he could have done about that, though. We had a couple of people come together, so people were going to find their way past before the start-finish line anyway. But that's just a quirk of how the sim system works. Here's our leaders, and Racine Vazui is jetting up to the back of Alex Ellis.
Yeah, definitely a little bit unfortunate there for Jacob Patar. I don't think it was his fault, but you know, what's he supposed to do? Left out of it? Absolutely not. Keep your foot in, buddy. Yeah. You clear the incident, just keep going. But indeed, it's working very, very good here for Sebastian Day. If he can stay here with this pack, he's got a 10-position leapfrog over Jesse Lambert, who's there in P12. This could be an absolutely monumental point haul for the driver of the 310 machine. Marshall Crocker Jr. now in the lead, one of the former BIS champions, ladies and gentlemen. And indeed, he is on form right now. He's just got to keep it together. We know he is a safe driver. His dad usually there cheering him on, offering a bit of crew chief duties, but we do have to wonder as well, this is the feature, there is going to be a pit stop. Will he be at a disadvantage by leading this race early on?
Yeah, well, Silverstone is a very fast circuit where slipstream is paramount to not only getting a good lap time, but winning a battle as well. I would get the feeling that if you can't outpace the driver in front of you, just stay behind, save a bit of fuel in the slipstream. That'll allow you to play around a little more with when you come into the pits. It won't necessarily shorten your pit stop, but it'll definitely allow you an opportunity to gain some more with an undercut or an overcut somewhere down the line. I don't think that Alex Ellis is thinking about that, though. That seems to be his favourite spot to go for moves. He goes up the inside at Stowe on Diego Zuccarelli, and now Racine Fazui gets in on the action too, round the outside of Vale, but oh, hello, Diego Zuccarelli pushing Fazui wide, but a race one winner gets through on the inside of Club, and he'll be chased by Clay Morris. Oh, gets into the wall, spins across the track, and that's going to involve Richard Hibbs as well. Big, huge damage on the front straight. Hibbs is stricken. There's nothing he can do. That's huge.
For a second there, we had the full shake, rattle, and roll experience. Definitely unfortunate for Richard Hibbs. Nothing he can do. Clay Morris and Diego Zuccarelli, I think it was, coming together a little bit there. Zuccarelli survives. Clay Morris definitely did not. And indeed, that has been catastrophic for the order. But right now, let's keep an eye here on the 153 car of Ryan Otto. He's up 10 positions, ladies and gentlemen, and managed to find himself up in P7. As indeed, we have a freeway fight going on here around Diego Zuccarelli.
Indeed, Diego trying his best to hold off Ryan Otto for the moment, but we'll see what he can do to find his way back past. Looks like Ryan's going to have the run up the inside there through Woodcote, the former first corner of Silverstone. This layout has been through a lot of changes over the years, this current layout dating from 2010. So let's see now who has the best pace here. It looks like Ryan Otto, the fastest car on track last time by, but we only have a few drivers who have actually set a lap time that's valid enough to officially be classed as a fastest lap. That currently falls to Jamie LeVay in 5th place with a 155.7. Keeping an eye on Brady Clapham now in P20, up 12 places from where he started. A fantastic run so far for the number 77.
Fair play to him. He's going to have Kara judging next on the chopping block. But right now we return to the battle at the front of the pack, and that is indeed Racine Fazui. He's currently there in P4, looking at Sebastian Day. Now this is looking really good for Sebastian. While that gap in places has fallen, he's down in 3rd. I say down in 3rd. He's on the podium, ladies and gentlemen, as Alex Ellis takes the fastest lap. Absolutely astonishing 155. To say that, Buchanan goes and says, "Thank you very much. I'll take that." You know what? I'm just going to give up saying the fastest lap if they keep going faster. 155.251. It's out of there. But anyway, Leslie Lambert is currently 7 positions back, 8 positions back. Thank you very much, Mr. Buchanan. As indeed, Sebastian Day could be in for a fantastic point haul, as he is absolutely going for it. I give up. You get the point. I give up. These guys obviously are not complying to this commentary.
No, certainly not. All right. We're going to keep an eye here on this fight for the lead of the race. There's a lot going on behind them, but we have to keep an eye out on this battle because it is the biggest of them all. It's not the best of runs out of Luffield for Marshall Crocker Jr., and Alex Ellis is going to try and get him around the outside of Copps here. We've seen that done before, and it looks like we're going to see it again. He'll have the inside for Maggots. First corner of the Beckett's S's. Does Crocker yield here? Looks like he might have to. A little bit wide on the way in, but now he's offline, and Racine Fazui sees a chance of getting alongside.
Yeah, certainly, it's definitely a detrimental place to have to really slow the car down and really back it off. And indeed, Fazui is pretty much lined up and ready to make a pass. But not only that, he's got Sebastian Day and indeed Jamie LeVay right behind in that 444 car. Certainly, if I have a look very much in the top 7 cars, top 8 cars, ladies and gentlemen, they are all very much in drafting range as Crocker Jr. pushed right to the outside there, but still trying to hold on with absolutely astonishing composition surrounding him. As right there, Sebastian Day right behind. We're going to make a move here on Fazui. Fair play to him. Give it a go, my son, as indeed he is now challenging against Jamie LeVay.
Yeah, Crocker forced Fuzui wide there in Vale, and that pushed everyone back a little bit. Sebastian Day will stay ahead of Jamie LeVay for the moment. Ryan Otto still joining them in that fight for the top 6. Oh man, this is going to be an interesting fight. Super late on the brakes for turn 3. And it doesn't look like we're going to be seeing any moves, but Fuzui is having a look up the inside of Crocker any point he can. And it looks like picking up the slipstream here, coming down the Wellington Straight. He might go for the move at Brooklands.
Well, he's certainly got a good run on him so far, but let's give a very quick shout out to Mauricio Parada here as Racine Fuzui just indeed find his way up into P2. Now the question is he going to be able to catch up to Alex Ellis there? Sebastian Day getting into it here with Jamie LeVay. They were side by side, and it looks like LeVay's been able to secure that position, but for how long? Day is going to want it back. Ryan Otto, though, right in his rear mirror. But again, a quick shout out to the driver of the number 81 car, currently in P23, Mauricio Parada. He was now up 18 spots, ladies and gentlemen. He's lost one in the since the start of this point.
Yeah, it looks like he's losing more now. You've just cursed him, Zippy. He's fallen back to 30th place. Actually, no. Oh yeah, he is. Yeah, he has. That's unfortunate. I think you'll be getting an invoice for that damage bill, Zippy. In any case, this fight for the top 6 looks like it's in lockstep at the moment. Don't forget, we're only about 10 minutes in to this race, and we will see them all come into the pits at some point. It's a very interesting pit entry at Silverstone. You'll see them come past it down here. Oh, big snap on the way out of Stowe. That's where pit lane splits off, and you're basically cutting the inside of the last complex there to do it. You need to nail it though, because you're braking hard. You're braking a little bit later than you would for the corner, so very easy to overshoot pit lane entry. I wonder how many drivers are going to be getting black flags for speeding as Fuzui gets into the 1:54s, chasing Ellis down for the lead. Otto for the moment gets up the inside of Sebastian Day. Our pole sitter is now back to P6, but I gotta say, Sebastian Day has really held strong against these heavy hitters. I'm quite impressed with his performance.
Oh, absolutely. Myself as well. I mean, the guy is 2100 iRacing, and he's going against people who were 1.5 times that. And not only that, what a fantastic save there he had going out through that right-hander. But it does look like Racine Fuzui has indeed taken the lead away from Alex Ellis. I've got to be honest, I'm a little disappointed in Ellis. I thought he was going to put up more of a fight, but you know what? It doesn't matter how quick Fuzui is. Can Alex Ellis stay with him and potentially save some fuel to leapfrog him through pit strategy?
Yep, fight for third. It looks like LeVay getting back up the inside of Marshall Crocker Jr. These two have been exchanging positions over the course of this lap, and Crocker is going to try and get up the inside of Maggots. Side by side through the Beckett's S's never works, and it looks like Crocker is going to have to yield to LeVay in the short term there. But man, what a fight this is. We've got Ellis holding on in the slipstream versus Racine Fuzui. We've got LeVay trying to protect a position on the podium here. He wants a double podium out of today's racing. Remember, he finished 2nd in race 1. Crocker, meanwhile, finished in 8th in race 1. He wants a chance to get onto the podium here. Gets on the racing line on the way into Vale, but not able to get alongside, can't hold on to it, and he'll have to yield there to LeVay, maybe round up some kind of move in the next couple of laps. If not that, then a visit to the pits. We've had a few drivers make their way to pit lane, but oh no, that's big.
Yeah, that was one of the MTC Motorsports cars. Sounds like it was Richard Morris, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely not what they had in mind, as Tyler Scarelli has made it down pit road already. One of the early pit stoppers, it seems.
Yeah, we've had a few drivers come into the pits earlier, but mostly for damage. Broomhead came in a lap before, and I think this is a bit of a strategy play from the Britannia iSport drivers, of course. Their teammates. That's a huge move there from Ryan Otto. I was not expecting that. The regular Ryan Otto jump scare right there makes his way past Crocker and into 4th. He's up 13 places.
I honestly wouldn't mind seeing a replay of that. That honestly felt like it was a more of a dance than a position change, ladies and gentlemen. But it looks like Cara Dudgeon currently leading for the ladies, ladies and gentlemen. It's currently there in P16, trying to catch down Jared Dunkovic.
Yes, Kara is right in the middle of a huge battle at the moment. We'll keep our eyes on this for now, though, and see the 153 of Ryan Otto try his best. Oh, hello, there were cars off there in the runoff area just ahead. Wondering if that's lapped cars or if that was a problem there for... yeah, it looks like a lapped car, unfortunately. Might be one of the Lima guys. Looks like who's a lap down. I'm trying to check, but it's not cooperating with me. But some problems for drivers at the back of the field. Racine Fazui, on the other hand, has nothing to think about from behind. He has 3/10 over Alex Ellis. So we'll see Clay Morris a lap down, as it looks like into the pits comes Mark Boyd and Cara Dudgeon. This would be a good time to check in on Cara as she slows down for pit lane. And you see there the pit lane speed limit at Silverstone. It is only 60 k's an hour. You're practically crawling through pit lane.
You definitely would get a speeding ticket there, Reese. Myself, I have form for picking up the pit lane. That looks like one of the Britannia cars is indeed still in the pits. Am I missing a trick here, or indeed have we got somebody who's having a little bit of an extended break here at Silverstone?
I'm not seeing either Broomhead or Scarali in the pit lane at the moment, so we'll keep an eye on that. Dudgeon's pit stop is complete meanwhile, 11.3 seconds. We've seen pit stops run anywhere from 9 to 11 seconds for a proper pit stop. So Kara's back out on track now, having lost a little bit of time to Mark Boyd, who she was battling with on the way into pit lane. But we'll see if she can regain some of that momentum now that the car is a little bit heavier. She's got the fuel to get to the end. Pitting early may be the way to go about it here, because you pit later, you stand a chance of coming out in traffic. Fortunately for Cara, she has got plenty of clear air ahead of her, so we might be seeing some of her fastest laps here.
Yeah, it definitely does depend on the driver. Myself, I need somebody to try and spar against, and for me, that's what works better. Other drivers, honestly, a bit of clean air, and they will be absolutely dynamite. But as we have a quick check-in here, it looks like Ellis has indeed managed to stay here with Racine Fazui, and I believe they're all coming down the pits.
Yeah, they are indeed. That's everyone except Marshall Crocker, apparently, coming into the pit lane there from the top 10. So Crocker's going to stay out an extra lap. I have to wonder if that's going to work out for him, because, I mean, I know what I just said about staying out of pit lane, but the other side of the coin for Crocker is that his car's going to be lighter than everyone else's for a lap, and he's got clear air ahead of him. This is his chance to potentially gain some track position as long as he nails his pit stop. But yeah, look at pit lane. It is a hive of activity at the moment. Fazui and Ellis come out of the pit lane first. That is the effective race lead there for Racine Fazui. He'll maintain that. Cairo ends also staying out of pit lane for an extra lap. He's going to assume second for the moment, and out of the pits, looks like Mauricio Parada also staying out. Sebastian Day will have to try and find his way past him. Doesn't look like many huge changes in our top 10, apart from Ryan Otto getting up into P3. And, well, that looks like a pit stop under 10 seconds there for Ryan.
Yeah, definitely he has been involved in the draft for the majority of his races. Could be pretty crucial for him to be able to save some fuel there. But right now we're on board with Mauricio Parada. Seeing a little bit of a slide there. Who's that now? That's Sebastian Day in front. So fair play right now. I don't think this is going to last for General Mauricio Parada yet to come down pit lane, but showing as being 34 positions gained. Fair play if he can pull that off by the end of the race.
Yeah, indeed. We will see. Misses the apex of Cops just a little bit. When I was driving in the test session, I found it very difficult to nail that. Was that a car stopped on the exit of Cops as well? I gotta wonder. That's not ideal. Marshall Crocker. Yeah, Matthew Mailman, it seems, stopped on the side of the circuit there. I'm not sure what the issue is. But Crocker's come into the pits, and Cairo Enns will follow him in. I would expect everyone who hasn't pitted to come in on this lap, but yeah, Mailman just managing to move.
Yeah, I think Cairo has done the Zippy Classic, ladies and gentlemen, and sped in the pit lane, so he will indeed be given a do not pass go, do not collect $200, or indeed a quick pit stop, ladies and gentlemen. And I just want to point out we don't offer $200 for a clean pit. It's just a monopoly joke, but for the opportunists among you, fair play if you wanted to try and plug that one. But Cairo is definitely not the pit strategy he was indeed looking for, as indeed it is a hive of activity. Cairo Judge now getting back into a fight with that 305 car, chasing down Kenton Young for P20, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, indeed. Trying to break back into that top 20. Update on Marshall Crocker. It looks like the decision to stay out did not work out for him. He's lost out a bit further, down to 5th place now, with Fazui and Ellis putting on the pace they have. But keep an eye on Dudgeon here as she makes her way down through turn 3, trying to chase down this car here of Kenton Young. They move into 18th and 19th now as the field cycles through contact, and oh my goodness, that is one way to get a freebie for Cara Dudgeon. That looks like Mark Boyd making contact with Kenton Young, and call her Moses Dudgeon because she parted the Red Sea there.
I was going to say that was the full Black Friday sale. She bought one, she got one free, and absolutely fantastic stuff. Certainly Mark Boyd, he's a clean racer as well. I definitely, I don't think it was of any ill intention. Myself had a good pleasure there of racing alongside Mark Boyd, leader of Auto Eclectic Motorsports. But right now we're going to check in with somebody who I got to meet in real life, ladies and gentlemen, Clovis Gerard. I'll give you a clue. He's about 7 foot tall, certainly is in comparison to me. He's now got a battle on his hands with Cedric O'Hyan, Lima Racing leader, right behind him, ladies and gentlemen. It's a conflict of interest. Who do I want to cheer for? They are both fantastic guys in my book, but honestly, sorry Clovis, you don't have Pit Road Productions on your car, Cedric does.
Of course. So we know where your allegiances lie, Zippy. Racine Fazui brings the fastest lap down to a 154.7 in the meantime. And, well, Clovis Gerard has certainly got a lot of pressure underneath him. Christian Hill, behind the scenes, proposing that we do a lap on board here. And Clovis, we have a camera for him, so we can see what he does around Silverstone here. So, start, finish straight. That's where the start line is. You get it right out of the exit of the corner. Then a little tap of the brakes in 5th gear into Abbey and through Farm. You want to try and stick to the right as much as possible to shorten the run through and straighten up the car as soon as possible for turn 4, the first of our hairpins. You're in the arena section now, slowing all the way down. Slowest corner on the circuit here at Village, and then out onto the Wellington Straight. It's flat out through this left-hander, but you can very easily unsettle the car. This was the back straight for the national layout of the circuit. It became part of the Grand Prix layout in 2010. Very fast entry into Brooklands, tightens up partway through, and then you bring it back round for Luffield. 180 degrees plus of direction change. You really double back on yourself through here and get out of the corner as fast as you can. You can use all of that curb. You can cut all the way across the tarmac here at Woodcote as well to shorten the run to Cop. Braking at about the 75-meter marker. Light on the brakes means you can rotate the car. That's a little bit wide there for Clovis Gerard. Would have picked up an off-track there. But into Maggots now. Through here in 5th gear. Fastest corners on the track. Down into 4th for Beckett. And then down into 3rd for the best run possible, out through Chapel onto the Hangar Straight. He sees some battles beckon up ahead of him. Broomhead and Dunkovic battling up ahead there, going side by side into Stowe. Another incredibly fast entry and a corner where you have to be so precise, but he's a little bit wide of the apex on that run. He will need to keep a very close eye out behind for Cedric O'Hyan. Braking into Vale. Hit the apex or not. Oh. He's wide, and it looks like that's going to be O'Hyan getting involved with this at the end of this onboard lap.
Yeah, definitely incredibly. Where's he gone? Oh, he's gone. Look at that. I was going to say, I'm looking for him.
Passing around the outside.
With the sneak attack, ladies and gentlemen, Clovis Gerard, again, beautiful to see these two drivers battling. And not only that, a good, clean battle as well. With Clovis, I am going to call you out. I know you watched the broadcast. I gave you a Pit Road Productions flag. You need to get it up there. You got to rep the merch, bud. We don't have much for merch, but you've got it. You're probably one of the 4 or 5 people on the planet with one. I don't even have a flag. Get it up there, my friend, get it up there. But certainly Cedric O'Hire now is going to be on the defence for P14, ladies and gentlemen, as a bit of the razzle-dazzle from Clovis Girard.
Yes, indeed, letting O'Hire know that he is still there and still looking to fight. The satellite racing car they just passed there was Rick Boyd, who's running down in 15th position at the moment. Actually, no, he's down in 41st. I don't know why he's showing up as 15th on my timing, but oh my goodness, that's going to be a pass into Brooklands, and it looks like that might be Dylan Remy versus Robert Covey there. This is looking interesting here.
You can see that these two guys going side by side, and it looks like Robert Covey's definitely working hard. Ladies and gentlemen, we had him on the on Pit Road Productions a little bit a while ago, and it's great to see him back. Not only that, but in the car. Not actually managed to meet him in real life yet, but he has been nearby a couple of times, and indeed, I've got to meet him just honestly, just so I can see the beard in person. Why wouldn't you, ladies and gentlemen? But right now, he indeed has his hand and his beard full, ladies and gentlemen, as he's going into a fantastic battle here with what I believe is Wyatt Cormier in the 57, right behind it, Dylan Remy right ahead.
Yeah, and the satellite car that is with them there in the blue, white and red machine is Christian Menezes, who we saw towing off the race start. So he's back out there and trying to work his way forward, as that's a big move up the inside from Wyatt Cormier. He pushes deep on the exit of Stowe, and that'll allow Robert Covey a chance to pass him back here around the outside into Vale. Covey, the picture of concentration, and it's paying off. He manages to defend the position.
Yeah, look like Michael Broomhead in the 00 is going to put a nose in there, and don't get me wrong, we love Michael, but he is definitely not the luckiest driver on the grid. It's needed a couple of four-leaf clovers, a few horseshoes, and maybe a rabbit's foot if you wanted to go free wide through there, but thankfully he was able to back out of that. But saying that, Broomhead, look at that dive up on the inside, absolutely sends it past Cormier, and looks to try and take a piece out of Covey as well, trying to go for the over-under. I don't think he's going to get away with it. Covey still holding on by a car length, not even that, ladies and gentlemen, nose to tail here. Covey very much on the defensive, but Broomhead tucked right back under that rear wing as they head down towards the left-hander.
Yeah, this is crazy here. Broomhead holding the inside for Brooklands, but a little bit slower at the apex, parked it on the apex, and Robert Covey sees another opportunity open to the inside as Broomhead is that seems doing the double apex line through Luffield there. Grants him a fantastic exit down the old start-finish straight here. So that's going to be move done for our league administrator. He's looking to work his way back up here. Remember, qualified 28th for race 1, finished 14th. Great run up through the field, but wasn't able to maintain that. Zach Buchanan makes his way past Sebastian Day there. Buchanan now back into P7. So things are looking good for the recovery here for Buchanan. Let's see if he can catch up with Zuccarelli by the end. Only 3 laps to go after this.
Yeah, I've got to admit, Ryan Otto, he's not a driver I've seen here in BIS before, but he's currently having a really good day, up 14 spots in P3. Certainly Buchanan, he's a regular on the podium in BIS, and indeed that is not happening right now. He's going to have to work that little bit harder, but fair play to Sebastian Day. He has been absolutely punching above his weight, but don't get me wrong, he's got Jesse Lambert just a couple of seconds behind. There's about a 5.5 second gap in it. All that Sebastian Day can do right now is try and hold on these last 2 laps and secure the AM win in the main feature.
Indeed, Sebastian Day is looking like the biggest contender for the AM Class title this season. Jamie LeVay, meanwhile, with Ryan Otto here, 153 of Ryan Otto through the Beckett's S's. And it looks like LeVay was unable to really gain an advantage at that point, but if he nails the exit from Chapel in that MTC Motorsports 444, he's got the slipstream and he could have the move at Stowe. But Ryan Otto is very with it. He's breaking the draft, but that's not going to stop LeVay from a look up the inside at Stowe.
Yeah, certainly these two guys are having to work very hard. You can see a bit of a slide there from Ryan Otto, but it looks like Asad Nikanenbev has picked up a black flag, ladies and gentlemen. He is there in P9. This could be absolutely catastrophic for his result. I'm going to hazard a guess it's indeed on incident points, but don't quote me on it, ladies and gentlemen, as indeed Robert Proby's just picked up a black flag as well.
Oh man, it looks like, well, Silverstone is a track where it's very easy to pick up incident points if you're unfamiliar with iRacing. If this is your first time watching an iRacing stream, basically keep the car on the track. If you go outside track limits, you get a single incident point. You get 4 incident points for contact with another car where they spin as well. So if you build up enough incident points over time, you will be hit with an automatic black flag. The event rules show that the incident count penalty comes in at 20 incidents, and if you reach 30 incidents, you get an automatic disqualification. So the drivers do need to be careful not to reach those limits.
As you say that, I definitely just saw an off-track there for one of these two drivers. I can tell you that Sergeant Cardenbev has indeed gone down pit road, and that's pushed him back into P15. Robert Kobe Hayes now serving his penalty. That's pushing him back down through the order. Well clear. He's down into P28 and indeed falling now. Sammy Hendricks is going to make his way by as well. Definitely catastrophic there. Sometimes you got to use the incident points, the tactical advantage, ladies and gentlemen. It's legitimate. You can do it, the tactical off-track. But right now, it looks like the best battle we've got going on is indeed for P3 between Ryan Otto and Jamie LePay. As we check in here a little bit further back, ladies and gentlemen, who have we got over here now? Is the number 12 of Mark Boyd. I think they call him Bubba, ladies and gentlemen. I think that's his Instagram handle or something like that. As indeed, he's currently in P18 and battling in the AM class.
Cara Dudgeon and Kenton Young battling at the front of this one, and Dudgeon will keep the lead of that fight as Kenton had to run a little bit shallow into Cops. This is the view back from our Top Radical Academy driver. Some fantastic performances going on here in the midst of this fight. Kenton Young up 14 positions, Mark Boyd up 5, and we have Maxime Armand at the very back of this battle as well. Looks to me like he and Mark Boyd will be going side by side into Stowe. I'm wondering if that was a slowdown for Mark Boyd. Regardless, Maxime Armand is through, and now Kenton Young sees another chance to get past Cara Dudgeon, but a little bit off the circuit there, wasn't able to gain the advantage coming into the final couple of corners here. And they will get the white flag here. This is the start of the final lap for this particular pack. Racine Fazui is already into Luffield. Another dominant performance for our race leader.
Yeah, honestly, I'm wondering if we need to put a ballast on the guy, but definitely Cara Dudgeon on the defensive line there as, oh my gosh, free boy. Very briefly, what are they going to do with that? I certainly know, I don't know what I'm going to do, but this is getting colourful. A little bit of netcode bump there as Cara Dudgeon is indeed trying to fight to hold on. A little bit of another bump there, and indeed this thing is getting very interesting.
Beautiful.
Young at the front of that pack. Cara Dudgeon second, and Mark Boyd going at it as well. Maxime Armand all trying to get into it with Joey Haynes and Jay Rock starting to catch up to this battle as well.
Now that they are. Things getting really intense here in the final few miles of this race. And yes, Ryan Otto and Jamie LeVay are fighting over P3. Otto holding on to it, but LeVay around the outside of Stowe. Got to wonder if he can do it. Into the braking zone they come, and Otto will maintain the position. And it looks like he's too far ahead for LeVay to take advantage. Oh no, right at the end, and Racine Fazui out of the final corner takes race victory number 2. That's going to be the championship lead by a country mile for our reigning series champion. Alex Ellis finishes P2, Otto crosses the line in P3. Oh, both of them getting black flags. That means they're both going to get time penalties. That might elevate Marshall Crocker Jr. onto the podium.
I've got to admit there, when we tuned back into that clip, I don't know just how much weaving you can get away with, but I did feel that there was definitely a bit too much going on. I have a feeling a protest may indeed occur after that race, but certainly it did look a little bit questionable. Certainly I would be interested to hear your opinion on that one, Reese, and see. We'd have to check the rules to be sure, but I've got to say, fair play to Racine Fazui, absolutely dominating here today at Silverstone.
That was Sadna Cardenbev finishing in 14th there, and we know how he felt about that race. He had a really tough time, and oh dear, is that Jean-Francois Larocque who's run out of fuel there?
Cara, I think.
No, it's Cara Dudgeon. Oh yeah, she's fallen back to P20. Oh, that's such a shame. She was in 16th. She was battling with Kenton Young, but evidently not enough fuel put in. Either that or maybe not lifting out in the slipstream where it would have been handy to. Last few cars coming across the line, Krimi and Shrivastava there, making their way across in 27th and 28th. And well, we're still waiting on a few more to cross the line, but goodness me, the fighting at the end of that one was the most intense I've ever seen around this track.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't mind if we could make it happen, Christian. I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit more for the closing lap there between LeVay and Otto, just to see just what was happening, because it looked like there was a lot of swerving. It looked like there was definitely a little bit of elbows out aggression going on there, and I'm curious to see just they both ended up getting black flags. I have a feeling that one's going to be a spicy one in the chat after the show.
Yeah, certainly. Cara Dudgeon, meanwhile, confirming that she ran out of fuel, which is a real shame. But I think we have the opportunity to take a look at that fight as Racine Fazui begins his victory celebrations. That was a bit of a lame duck burnout, Racine. You can do better than that. There we go. That's better. Nice. Very nice. All right. So the fight between Ryan Otto and Jamie LeVay then, if we have that ready to go, we can keep an eye on it here. So this was coming out of Stowe and on the way up to the line. This, I believe, is their whole final lap. Can you confirm, Christian? No. It looks like this is the run to the line for the both of them, but particularly down the hangar straight before we cut in for that replay. Ooh, that was an off track there for LeVay, I believe. That all right. So this is the run into Cops. So this is a good spot to pick it up. So your point, Zippy, I do agree with. I think there is a limit to how much weaving is appropriate, but they were battling harder than I've ever seen here, side by side all the way through the Beckett's S's. I don't think anyone has been able to pull that off in this race so far, but keep an eye here on Otto. He's going to... Yeah, oh yeah, that's a lot of weaving. I think that would constitute a couple of changes of line there. It didn't end up working out for him in the end because LeVay was able to get by. Unfortunately for the both of them, the black flags they both got, Otto demoted back to 13th and LeVay demoted to 20th. So that is a massive problem for the both of them. They've missed out on a huge amount of points here, and that's going to be the end of that for what was the battle for the on-track podium. Time for our final results, though, and I believe they should be confirmed now that all relevant black flags and penalties have been applied. Racine Fazui wins both races tonight, also got pole position and the fastest lap in both races, so perfect night for our defending series champion in the pro class. Alex Ellis will finish in P2, and thanks to the black flags, Marshall Crocker Jr. will be elevated onto the podium. Zach Buchanan up to 4th, and Diego Zuccarelli classified in 5th. Sebastian Day takes the AM win. Jesse Lambert in 2nd there, with Andrew Hardman, John Benvalid, and Jarrett Dunkovic rounding out your top 10.
Have a look at P11. Cedric O'Hyan right behind one of his teammates there. He was able to take P11 with Asad Nakadabeb in 12th. Ryan Otto relegated down to 13th. Certainly epic racing, don't get me wrong, but questionable with the weaving there. He's there in P13 with Clovis Gerard in 14th. Kenton Young takes 15th with Mark Boyd. They call him Bubba, ladies and gentlemen. In 16th with Maxime Armand in 17th. Joey Haynes takes 18th with Jeff Laroc in 19th. And Jamie LeVay hardly relegated down to P20.
21st, Cara Dudgeon running out of fuel on the run to the line with Dylan Rennie, Wyatt Cormier and Jacob Batta there in, I believe, the next 3 positions in the AM class. Michael Broomhead finishes in 25th ahead of Mauricio Parada with Matthew Crimi, Abhi Shrivastava and Robert Covey coming home up to a minute and a half back. Tyler Scarali rounding out the 30th position.
Cairo Enns took 31st with Sammy Hendricks. Both of these guys, same team. Great to see him here in 32nd. With Brady Clapham in 33rd. I did see him get disqualified at the end, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe he had a few too many incident points. In 34th was Chad Payton with Steve Sutherland in 35th. Alan Martin took 36th with Rick Boyd in 37th. Christian Menezes, he was there in 38th with Jonathan Pagazan in 39. And Clay Morris, very sadly, back in P40.
Yeah, looking for a better result than that. Richard Morris and Ovidio Milos outside the top 40 there with Austin Milwain. Oh, man, Aussie really having a rough go of things there. Classified 4 laps down. Ollie Ferguson and John Painter 5 laps down, with Matthew Mailman 6 laps down, full-on retirement territory for Jonathan Etier, Harlan Goulbourne, Keenan Blades and Rich Hibbs. Hibbs was out down at the start-finish straight, tumbling through the air. Matt Sobol and Alex Tagliani did not take to the start for this one. So that's going to be our field of cars for both races tonight. Zippy, I understand we have our winner in the box with us now.
Well, I've got to say, Racine, you definitely didn't disappoint, and indeed anybody who was indeed having a little bit of a bet on you being victorious, they definitely would have been in on the money tonight. Racine, tell us a little bit about how you've been able to get so much pace out of this Radical SR10.
I'd rather not, because otherwise everybody will be fast. So I'll keep it to myself. No, I'm playing.
So modest.
It's just about. I mean, this car. You know, we have to not forget it's a heavy car, right? Relatively heavy to something like an SR3 or I might be out of it, but maybe a skip barber, I think. But an SR10 is. You have to not forget it's heavy. It has a lot of power. It's nimble. So when you drive it, even on the sim, you have to think about it kind of like a boat, but like a Swifty boat. It's kind of a weird feeling. Once you feel like you're just gliding with the car and driving smooth, then as long as you respect your angles as you approach apex, you save your tires, and then you just got the pace towards the end of the race.
Say, Racine, you are the previous champion from last year, certainly in the pro class, and understandably so. You are definitely a pro, without a doubt, rocking nearly 8,000 iRating, ladies and gentlemen. And indeed, you actually work with one of our sponsors here, Lima Racing. Tell us a little bit about what your role is in that team.
Yes, sir. Shout out Lima, said, and all the boys. This year, driver, coach, and engineer for Lima in the FEL RCC, which is the Radical Championship for Canada. Had a great time this year. A sensational championship filled with thrilling events and ups and downs, and it was very fun to do this with that team. That's why I think we're how many cars do we have? 5, 6, 7? I saw a few green cars on the grid tonight, and that looks pretty cool. And myself rocking the green colors. So yeah, no, I'm happy to be part of Lima and squad.
Oh, absolutely, and indeed, a very, very potent driver indeed. Racine, we are indeed going to wish you a huge congratulations for your 2 victories here at Silverstone, and look forward to seeing you back for the next round as well.
Thank you. Just want to shout out my whole family, shout out my dog, shout out Lima and all the boys, shout out VPX, Alex, and all the boys at VPX if you're watching this stream. Shout out BIS, Pit Road Productions, as always. Shout out FEL to make this possible. It's always fun to race every now and then. Thank you, everyone.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, indeed, our fastest man of the day, Razim Fazuri. Reese, who have you caught up with, sir?
Well, I was waiting for you to tell me who I'd caught up with. I think Alex Ellis is not here, so maybe we should have a chat to Marshall Crocker, who's sitting up there in the waiting channel. Welcome, Marshall. Promoted to the pro class for this season, and honestly, you've gotten it off to a good start. An 8th and a 3rd thus far, and you were right in the mix the whole way through.
Well, good things happen to good people, you know. This is it's what I like to see. You know, I couldn't believe it. I tuned in to watch the broadcast. I see you guys going over the final results, and I'm like, I think that graphic's wrong. Sure enough, it's some good luck in front of me. But yeah, what a fun race, eh? I mean, in a one-on-one sense, I lost every battle the entire race because I go to the front at the beginning, and then I had the pleasure of battling Racine, Alex, all these great guys. Jamie pulled one of the greatest moves I've ever seen on me into the entry of the S's there. I texted him already, but just a guy that these guys that understand the race car so well, how far they can push it, and they're just going to send it on me, and I don't have that same confidence. So the speed was good. I feel like I improved more from last season than I thought I might, but yeah, I got more to figure out to hold these guys behind me because there are some burners up here in the pros.
Yeah, there absolutely are, and I think the nature of the track can play into that as well. Silverstone's a very high commitment circuit. Have you had a chance to look at the schedule, and if so, which tracks really jump out to you as ones you're going to be gunning for?
I mean, I'm pumped for Mexico. I think I pick up new tracks. I think pretty well. There's a lot of them that just because I don't run too many officials, I just don't have as much experience in going in as compared to other people. But Mexico City getting added to iRacing, I think it was a month ago. That's the next one on the calendar, so I'm pumped. And it's another very strategic circuit because it is so passing oriented. So many long straights like Silverstone. I really enjoyed Donington Park. That one's round 6. I've never run it. That's not until February, but I'd never run it until last season. Did really well there in my rookie year. I think that was my best finish until the season ender at Motorsport, and then of course Motorsport, defending champion. Got to go back to back, and this time it's not quite as cool because I'm doing it in the class that should be winning every week. But it's so much fun to be up here and finally get to just race against anybody and everybody. But seeing some of these amateur guys replacing me in the practice this week, there are guys quicker than me in the amateur class starting this year. So that title is going to be taken by somebody really good this season. I'll tell you that.
Absolutely. We've got a fantastic season ahead of us, and I'm sure that you've got a great season ahead of you as well, Marshall, with the results you've managed to get today. Congratulations, and hopefully we'll be chatting to you again in 2 weeks' time.
Thank you very much. I was worried I wouldn't talk to you guys for a while. Thank you for the job you do, and let's hope it's 2 weeks. We're talking to you again.
Fantastic. Marshall Crocker Jr. there, finishing on the podium in race 2 thanks to penalties for the drivers ahead. Zippy, I understand you've had a chance to catch up with Sebastian Day, who won the AM class in the feature.
Well, I've got to say, Sebastian, you came out of nowhere. Your debut racing here today at BIS, and what a way to start it. Ladies and gentlemen, the 310 driver absolutely able to get a huge feature win for the AM class. Tell us a little bit about how it was starting there at the front of the grid and how you managed that traffic and indeed try to play the tactics for that main race.
Yeah, I was definitely a bit nervous starting on pole as this is my first event here, so I was just kind of hold on for dear life and see how many I can keep behind me.
Well, that's definitely a very valid technique indeed. Certainly, Silverstone, definitely a high-speed track. Is this one that you would say would be on your Princess approved list, or are there other venues in the circuit that you're looking forward to more?
Well, I have never done this track before, so it was good to try this. Never done this car either, so it was good fun, but I'm really looking forward to Motorsport just because I know it well.
Well, definitely the BIS home track. But Sebastian, it's been absolutely, certainly we've given you a few shout outs during the broadcast. You've been doing absolutely fantastically so far. And considering it's a new track as well, I'm looking forward to what we're going to see from you in the future. But while we've got you here, is there anybody you'd like to shout out?
Of course, I'd like to thank my team, 2430 Esports. They've supported me, so I can't thank them enough. And also just to my real-life sponsors, Maxim Motorsport and Steel Motorsports. They helped me with my kart racing, so I would like to thank them.
Well, definitely fair play to you shouting out the real life sponsors, and indeed maybe you should have a chat with Asad Nakanabev. He's into the go karts as well, as is Joey Haynes. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a few professional go karters in BIS here, and indeed some professional race drivers as well. We've got a bit of everything, ladies and gentlemen. But, ladies and gentlemen, Sebastian Day, his debut round, getting the AM win. Congratulations!
Thank you, guys.
And with that, we can bring in another AM driver. Jacob Batter joins us now in car 111. And, well, race 2 didn't entirely go to plan, Jacob, but you still managed to get a top 10 finish in race 1. So things not entirely dark and stormy out there. You obviously had quite a bit of fun.
Yeah, I mean, the race 1 was fun. I got some good pace in qualifying, and the race was flowing well too. I was doing good with the pros, and yeah, it was a good race.
Certainly was. We did see, especially in race 2, plenty of difficulties for many drivers out there. The pit cycle is the big difference maker. How did that go for you?
Yeah, I think I took a bad luck at the start with the black flag. It was a bit unexpected from my side, and then I actually got another bad luck when I came back to the pits for fuel. I didn't like remove my tires, so they changed it as well. So I lost more time in there. So I'll definitely take a look back and change my strategy next time.
Yeah, well, you'll have plenty of opportunities to perfect that strategy over the course of the season, Jacob, for your debut here at BIS. A top 10 finish in race one is certainly nothing to sneeze at, and certainly a great result for the AM class. So congratulations on that. Hopefully things will be on the up and up as the season goes on for you. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So Jacob Batter there will exit our comms box. And Zippy, I understand we managed to find Alex Ellis. He's with us now.
Well, Alex, certainly it's great to see you here, not only in BIS, certainly you're out there driving in the real world as well for, I think it's BPX Motorsports, if I remember rightly, in the real world. So tell us, Alex, you're probably one of the people we can ask this. What is it like going from the sim to reality? Certainly, I've seen you in the sim. You are incredibly potent. Tell us a little bit about that from your experience.
So to be honest, it's actually extremely transferable. I would say the biggest difficulties come from perception. So like how close you are to another car. Also visual, because on the simulator you have the virtual mirror, which gives you a huge field of view so you can see everything behind and around you. Like say a car pulls out and they go to the inside lane, it's very obvious on the sim, while in real life it's much harder to be aware of those things. So the actual driving is very similar. The racing has some nuanced differences, but it's one of those things. A good driver can figure out the nuances with both platforms.
Well, I got to say, there is one part I do feel that you did miss out of that, and it's the absolute having the bravery to go into a corner at Mark crazy, ladies and gentlemen. Like, it's fair to say that these cars do indeed pick up some speed. Certainly yourself, you're driving a Cayman GT4, I believe, in the real world. Certainly it's been fun keeping up with your antics there. But Alex, I got to say, a P4 and a P2 today. I did expect to see you on the podium. It looks like you got some fresh competition here to try and keep you on your toes.
Yeah, it's a super stacked grid this year. I've barely been on the sim throughout the season with all the real world commitments, so I got to dust the sim off, get the pace back. But what's really cool is you noted I've been running the Cayman GT4 with VPX Motorsport in the States and GT4 America. What's extra special is Rasim Fazui, today's winner, who's just too fast on a sim. He was actually my engineer this year. So I think I went on like 16 trips. I've probably spent about as much time with him as I have my wife this year. So it's great to continue it into the BIS Radical Championship by FEL.
Well, that's definitely great to see these real world connections coming into play, and certainly it's good to see that you're doing well and indeed having a lot of fun as well. Being a family man as well, fair play to you. I don't know how you pull it off, but worst case scenario, you've got Razim. You guys can hang out and have a little bit of a bromance. We won't hold it against you by any means. Both of you guys, top stuff. But Alex, are we going to be seeing some more podiums from you this season? I mean, Silverstone, a very high speed track. Is there any particular track on the circuit that you're particularly feeling you're going to be strong at?
I'm looking forward to Mexico City in 2 weeks. I tend to be able to learn tracks quite quickly, and the Mexico City track is a new one to the sim, so I'm hoping that can give me a little bit of an edge. But like I said before, Rasim and a few other guys on this grid just have so much pace. I have to find, I don't know, it feels like I have to find about 2/10 of raw pace, so I'll be digging deep, seeing what I can do, and hunting for some wins this year.
Well, definitely going to wish you the best of luck. Ladies and gentlemen, able to get a P4 and indeed a P2. The driver of the number 50 car, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Alex Ellis.
Thanks so much, guys. Take care.
Well, I've got to say, Reese, what an absolute belter of a first round. Don't get me wrong, it was spicy at times, but the racing was nothing short of phenomenal. Rasim Fazui able to secure 2 wins. That's definitely going to be very advantageous in the long stream of things. But Reese, your conclusions from yourself, sir?
My conclusion is bring on the rest of the season. Honestly, we're going to be eating good over the next few months if the action from today is anything to go by. You know, the profile of this championship was already quite high, but with the official support coming in from FEL Motorsports, it's just gone into the stratosphere, and I think it's brought a brand new standard of competition as well. I can't wait to see who's on top when we go to Mexico City in 2 weeks' time.
Absolutely, and I've got to say the racing was nothing short of phenomenal. It wasn't just a good, ladies and gentlemen, this was the full steak dinner, the veg, the sides, it even had a drink with it. It was nothing short of delicious, ladies and gentlemen. But if you want to see it, you're going to have to be here on Pit Road Productions or indeed on FEL Motorsports as well. Dual streaming, ladies and gentlemen, would you look at that? Technology is indeed amazing. But if you want to see more of the BIS Radical Cup Canada, you're going to have to be there in 2 weeks' time. Same time, 8:30 Eastern, ladies and gentlemen, or indeed 9:30 Atlantic, if on the off chance you are indeed in Nova Scotia, the same as me. But certainly, it's been a belter. And if you want to see more BIS, ladies and gentlemen, 1 week from now, we're going to be there for the Toyo Tires BIS Formula 1600 Championship. But that's about going to bring us to a close for today. My name is Daniel Zippy Sowen, and joining me in the commentary booth today, the one and only Mr. Reese Gardner, the Southpaw Racer himself, and at the production controls, our very own Mr. Christian Hill. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in 1 or indeed 2 weeks' time.